Hello, everybody, and hi, Madhu. Thank you so much for coming on this platform. So, it's been a long time idea that's been incubating in me to do learning through discussion, how richer learning can be when you discuss topics. So, to start off this session, coding in AI. That's right now I think the trend, and you've been with the trend. What's a childhood memory that has shaped you for what you are today?
Yeah, thank you, Parajita. Well, happy to be here and let's have a discussion. And you know me, I sometimes tend to digress and go off paced, in which case, we'll bring it back in. So before going to childhood memory, we will also talk about, AI, what's happening in the industry. But, let's go to your question first, actually. So
Right.
childhood memory, there are so many very good memories. And then I was thinking about, okay, should I share a memory or, what it has taught me, what enabled me to what I am today. So I'm going to go with what enabled me. First and foremost, it's my parents, right? So they have brought me up and encouraged me to make decisions from my young age. In my household, my parents never told me, oh, well, the adults are talking, you shouldn't be here or you shouldn't get involved. Rather, they encouraged me to be involved in discussions, get to know what is happening in a family, get to know, what is happening in the society. And I think that is the strong foundation upon which I grew up, and that enabled me to be who I am today, right? Because that
Beautiful.
decision making and interacting with people, um, I love that, and I am thankful for my parents to have given that to me.
Wonderful, Madhu. That's no, that's really nice. Like you got your freedom to express your thoughts at a very
Hmm.
young age. So that's a beautiful idea. All right. So just going in before we even plunge into the topic, there's one more thing. So that what's that instant mojo, like a quick burst of energy or spark that helps you immediately feel motivated, creative, or ready to perform at your best. So it's called an instant mojo. So how do you get it and how do you keep it? So in case you lose it, then how do you bring it back?
Yeah, we all go through it, right? I mean, sometimes you feel like, oh my God, I have to log into work today. That happens. And what do I look forward to that makes me go like, no, 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 we have to go in. I have to go in. I have to do this. And I have always taken that energy and inspiration by interacting with people. So for me, what brings that up is even if I feel like, oh my God, why am I doing a certain thing? Sometimes it doesn't just click in. You're going through something in work, you're going through something at home, and you're like, why am I doing this? But
Yeah.
then I go and discuss it with my friends. I go discuss it with family, and then they will throw some ideas. Sometimes we just pull each other's leg, and that kind of creates that energy back and resets my head. Okay, you know what? Energized now. Now I can just go focus on it, get something done. That's my go-to. People is my go-to, and the other thing I take energy and inspiration from is I don't read a lot of books. Whenever people say, "Oh, I'm reading this book. This is what I'm going to read next," I go like, "Well, that's not me." However, I do follow stories. I do follow articles in the format of media. So I watch a lot of Japanese anime series, and I take a lot of inspiration from them. I mean, some people do tell me that's childish. It's not. It's good
Yeah.
storytelling that comes from the Japanese authors, and that motivates me as well.
It's
Yeah,
your instant mojo. So
yeah, it's my instant mojo. Yeah, watch an episode of anime and then like, okay, I'll recharge. Let's go.
beautiful. So even if you lose your instant mojo, the Japanese anime will actually bring you back.
It seems to. Yeah.
Lovely. No, actually, you started with why, putting up those why questions. So, yeah, I just wanted to share that I was talking to one of the, founders of an organization. So he was also telling like anything that you, start or you think or you even walk. So always you ask the question why. So then when you used
Mm.
why, I was like, ah, there you go. So I think asking why a question like makes a lot of I mean, it actually puts your thought process higher. Nice, Madhu.
Mm,
Okay,
mhm.
so I think 5 minutes into the session, let's dive deep into starting with the topic. So, if AI could instantly teach one skill, what would it be?
Right. So this is probably where I'm going to take a pause. Let's talk about AI a little bit, right? Before we discuss some of these questions.
Yeah.
And what I'm about to discuss with you is not like, okay, I read this somewhere here, I read that somewhere there. Yes, it comes from a lot of reading and involvement in the industry, but
Mm.
it's my own understanding and perception of how this space is evolving, right? So we
Ah.
call our current algorithms as artificial intelligence. I myself, so before going about what I refer to the current trend as,
Mm.
how how did we come to this point, right? So the neural network algorithms or the concept existed for decades now. When I was in uni and even before that, the concept of, okay, we could have a neural network, we could have a learning algorithm existed, but it
Okay.
didn't pan into what we have today, right? Why did it not pan into what we have today? Because a lot of data was needed to
Mm.
be able to make sense out of it and make it something useful, and that data was not available in a digital format. So how did we get to have all this data? Well, it's thanks to each and every
Okay.
one of us having that obsession of, I see a flower, I need to take a picture of it, put it on Facebook. I need to
Mm.
take a picture of it, put it on my
Mm.
Google Photos. So it's a community effort. We went and gathered all this information, whether it is taking a selfie, whether it is I'm going to write in Wikipedia, I'm going to go publish in my own blog.
Mm.
So we started reaching out in internet, and that became popular with personal devices like phones. Till the time it was limited to laptops and desktops, it was not evolving. But the moment we got digital personal devices in our hands, we
Mm.
went and we started collating all this data. And that
Okay.
data made this possible, right? So rather than the current state of things, referring to it as artificial intelligence, I call it as collective intelligence, meaning it's
Okay.
all the things that we have collated together and we have used
Mm.
the algorithm to form kind of this relationships and link between all this data.
Okay.
So
So
it helps
unknowingly
us.
we have contributed.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, so that's the beauty of technology, right? Meaning some technologies take decades to click. The reason being it needs a lot of other enablers which are not available, right? So when
Okay.
the enablers comes together, then the trend picks up, right? So the enabler for AI is our smartphones, our social media, our online presence, as we call it.
Okay.
That's what made this possible. Now, with what we have today, what are the technology and concept people already proposed that's going to come to the forefront and use all the enablers that's going to come in the next decade and what it's going to lead to? We don't know, but I'm
Ah.
curious, right? And we will see how
So
this
AI
trend actually
AI
evolves.
can become into another form, and so down the lane, we I mean we might move away from AI and call it BICI something. No, something it could be.
Yeah, it
Okay.
definitely will evolve, right?
Okay,
Meaning,
that's interesting.
so it's a simulation of our thought process. It's simulation of our learning process,
Okay.
and it is not quite yet the simulation of our teaching process, right? And I was thinking about this. We
Hmm.
put all this data in. I mean, we are having this discussion now. Let's take a live example from what we are doing, right? We are having this discussion
Okay.
now, and
Hmm.
in my video, the background is blurred. In your video, you have a banner in your background,
Right.
right? When I was in uni, one of my professors was trying to do a program that could tell in a given picture what part of it is a subject, what part of it is a background or not subject.
Hmm.
And it was so difficult to write that program. It was so difficult because,
Okay.
our brain has learned
Hmm.
that, okay, when I look at this picture, oh, this is where Aparajita is, and the rest of it is a background. We
Mm,
know it instinctively. We know it. We know how to do that. Our brain has learned that.
mm,
But to be able to transform that and put it into a readable, explainable format for someone who doesn't know is so
mm.
difficult, right? I mean, in some cases we
Yeah,
have done, like, we have theories. How does gravity work? What is the first law of this, second law of that? We have all those.
yeah.
These are people who learned something and then they were able to explain it, saying this is how it works. So going back to this example of this background detection, it was so
Right.
complex. I remember interacting
Mm,
with my professor, and he was explaining all the complexities we had, and we couldn't. But the
mm.
one, and how did we end up happening? How did we end up having this in our video call today? That is through these algorithms. When we had so much data, we
Mm.
fed the data and then did a learning process to make the algorithm do that. Now,
Okay.
do we have a explainable one page, two page in English or in some format? This is actually how it works. We don't have that yet, right?
Okay.
So that's the state of things right now with AI,
Yeah, I
right?
mean,
Meaning,
forming instructions to, bring out an output, right?
correct, correct.
So, so you have, I mean, there are variety of ways where you can put your thought process.
Mhm.
So as AI will involve, so the thought process will also keep jumping and moving, and you will, get
That's
into
the
different.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's the next interesting thing, right? First, it is about the algorithms evolving to a point where we are able to get output out of it in a form
Mm,
that we are able to understand.
mm,
And then say we are able to understand as humans and the intelligence, artificial intelligence part, we are able to communicate how much more we are going to learn out of that, right? Meaning,
wow.
um,
Mm,
I mean, it's it's a possibility in the future,
okay.
and it can bring so much with it, right? But the current state of things is actually collective intelligence, collation of all the information in a very nice, tidy form, and it has got some things that are explainable. Like, say, for example, if someone
Mm,
asks me, "How do you
mm,
make something, a recipe for a dish or something?" I'm able to
okay.
explain it.
Yeah, yeah.
So we have certain things like that. However, we still have a lot of things where, you as a person understand how to do it. I as a person
Mm,
understand how to do
right.
it. But then if we have to write about it, like this is how exactly, we cannot, right? So, and there is a lot of that with AI at the moment, right?
Okay.
So I thought we will have that discussion in terms of current state of things, and
Okay, as a
how we
separate
go about
topic.
it. Mhm, mhm.
Okay. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
sure, surely. I mean, we are going to have more and more into AI. This is just the beginning, as you said. But I
Hmm.
think in
Hmm.
every AI session, we are going to definitely talk about what is it that AI could instantly teach. So the one skill that right now I think is thinking. So, it's
Yeah.
actually teaching you to think in a different, I mean, think to write instructions.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, even the concept of we are able to gain a skill from
Mm,
AI, it's
mm,
not just playback, right? Today, we are not gaining skill from AI, it's a playback. Instead of using a Google search, I'm using a AI search,
AI, right,
which is
right.
actually collating all the things and giving it to me in formats that are improved, right? So
Yeah,
it's not
exactly. I mean,
that
you just
quite,
have to give two words, then it gives you a sentence. So
yeah,
as you said,
yeah,
that's coming because you have already, given it so much of information. Now take this, take this. So it is like,
correct,
okay, I took it, and then it's now giving us an
correct.
output. Lovely. All
Correct.
right.
Right. So
Beautiful.
to your question of, what skill I want to learn, I actually want to go to a stage where I'm able to, get a skill. I mean, interaction and learning is going to be there with current AI, right?
Okay.
But be able to say, for example, anything that we are not able to explain ourselves, but AI then is
Ah,
able to articulate to us, saying like, this is how you need to go about it, is wonderful thing to have.
okay. And the suggestions also that it gives. Do you want me to do that? Do you want me to do this?
Mhm.
I mean, I think to a common man, I mean, to someone who's just, or using Google. Like, see, I'm right now not doing any coding yeah, I mean, I'm right now not into IT at all. So what
Hmm.
I use, AI for, like, say, ChatGPT or Copilot. So these are, no, these are the only things that actually expose me to AI, though I also need, I mean, I think everybody right now has to use it in some form or the other. But
Hmm.
as you said, no, where it is going to take is completely on how humans are going to take it forward.
Hmm. Hmm. Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. So how can AI be used effectively to learn programming, not just generate code?
That's a very good question, right? And when interacting with people, and this is not a AI problem, this is a learning problem. Let's recognize that for a moment, right? Because before the AI tool came in, we went to some source code blog where we went and said,
Uh-huh.
"I'm getting this problem," and then someone will tell you, "Oh, did you try this?" I copy that the
Um,
code, paste it in mine, and like
yeah.
my problem went away.
Wait
Well,
for
did I learn?
another person to answer your question.
Yeah. So so I didn't learn there, right? Effectively, I'm just looking for a quick solution. So generating code using AI, if you are using that as a quick solution, then you don't learn. So, however, rather than saying I have this problem or this particular error, I want this code, um, go interact with AI saying, I'm thinking of doing something like this.
Hmm.
Right? And this works beautifully because your all the data that we have collected together,
Hmm.
uh, interaction today is made possible because of, they call it as NLP, natural language processing, right? And
Okay.
that's the reason why we are able to interact with the algorithm. And we don't have to run any commands in Python to be able to do it. Rather, we are like going and saying it in English, right?
Yeah.
So you need to almost, people who started using Google, we need to almost unlearn. In Google, you don't write too many words. If you write too many words, your search results are not going to be good, right? You need to be crisp in keywords. Wherein with AI, you have to actually go and explain and, you know, pour your emotion into it. That's absolutely fine, right? But
Ah.
go and say like, okay, I want to learn this. I don't know this. I know these things. And I have seen some of my friends even using prompts like, teach me this concept as if you're teaching 11-year-old, right?
Oh, wow.
Meaning, based on that, the response we get from the algorithm is very different. And
Wow.
best part is you ask for code, the
Hmm.
algorithm is going to give you code. However, what I would definitely encourage everyone is go and ask, like, okay, I want to do this. How do I go about it? Then you will see the response is very different. Okay, this is where you need to start. Here is a link for you to learn this. Here is something, and it gives you a set of information.
Ah, okay.
And
So it
make a
is a
learning
perfect
plan.
guide.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a very interactive encyclopedia, right? So you don't have to browse through a big book and hunt for where it is. You can just ask, okay, I would like to know about it, and you get it. Um, Improvisation happens in the algorithm to
Hmm.
make it useful rather than, I mean, if you interact with the tool and let's say 4 out of 10 times it tells you,
Hmm.
I don't know what that is, you're going to be like, you know what, I'm not going to use it. So there is a little bit of improvisation there, what we are seeing with the algorithms and their responses. And the best thing to do is, if whenever you get something today in the current state of algorithms, you always get a reference of where the algorithm has inferred that from.
Ah, okay.
If the
Yeah, the
inference is
source.
not, yeah, exactly. If the inference is not given to you, you can
Hmm.
actually go and ask, how did you arrive at this? Where
Okay.
did you get this? And in
Hmm.
some cases, you will see the algorithm is going to respond to you saying, I saw this, I saw this.
Hmm.
So I have logically kind of bridged the gap and gave you that answer. Well, it may not be wrong, but as a person learning, just have it as an interaction like you would have with any other human. Just go and ask, I know this, I don't know this, I would like to know. Make a learning plan and then use the tool to learn. And once you have
Got it.
learned, you can use AI to generate some code for speed, efficiency, and all.
Okay.
Then be equipped to be able to review the code, understand it, test it.
Hmm.
Um, because the current state of things, especially in programming,
Hmm.
there is your prompt and there is an end result.
Yeah.
In some intermediate step, it prints on screen saying, I'm designing this, I'm planning this, I'm doing this, and all those
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Those intermediate steps are not stored in any reliable way, meaning next day you come and you ask the same question, you may get the same output. And then with that output, you ask for something to be changed, something to be improved. You will see that sometimes your request is fulfilled and other things have changed in your code you didn't ask. So
Okay.
things happen, which means,
So you
you
mean to
know,
say AI is completely dynamic?
it is. It is. Yeah. And it is improving, meaning, and when I say improving, unlike other technologies where it took years to improve, with
Hmm.
so much AI being done in open source and so many people being active in the space and doing improvements in the space day in, day out, every 3 months, you see a substantial improvement in what you are able to get as reliable output that
Wow.
you are able to use. Um, that being said, even several years down the line, when you're working with someone, say we are both in a team of project, and
Okay.
I've asked you to write some code, and you asked me to write some code, and then
Hmm.
we would do peer reviews.
Oh yeah. Yep.
We would do peer reviews not because we have um, doubts about our abilities, but what's the point of working as a team if we are
Yeah.
not going to collaborate and make sure that what we do, we are able to take it forward? Just take the same approach. Like, don't just rely on, oh, here it is, ChatGPT or Google AI. Give me a piece of code and then I just use it. Well, understand what it has given you, um, test it, make sure you read through it, make sure you do your code review, and then take it forward and use it. So yeah,
Wonderful. Okay, that's really nice. So I think we're like, peeling the AI coding in, every piece
layer
by
by
piece.
layer.
Yes, layer by layer. That's the perfect term to be used. All right. So what are good versus bad ways learners typically use for coding in AI?
Right. So I can answer that from in general with coding as well. And then
Mm,
in AI, we touched upon a little bit of that, right?
right.
So so in coding, we use frameworks a lot of
Mm,
time.
mm,
Framework is already a pre-built set of things that you leverage and you just write your logic on top of it.
yeah.
So when using a framework, it makes your life easy. You just go write a few lines of code and you achieve what you want to achieve and you're happy. However, when there is an error, when there
Mm,
is a behavior in your solution that you didn't expect,
okay.
then without knowing the framework and how the programming framework operates or what the flow of it is, it's going to be very difficult for you to solve that problem, right? So
Yeah. So you
bringing
need
that
to have a
into
perfect plan before you go and then, ask AI, and you need to get your basics done. You have to work on your basics.
correct. You have to work on your basics. You need to get the references for it and read through it, right? And
Mm,
understand how something works. And then take the code in, read through the code, test it, understand it, then take it into use, and you'll be all right. If you just take something, you put it into use, and it works, and for some reason, 10 days down the line, 20 days down the line, you have an error, and then you have to go back to the AI tool and give your code and say, I have this error, and the code gets, kind of updated. But like I said, you may have two changes that you wanted, and you may have some removal of code, you may have some unintended changes because of how current state of things are. So rather than giving your whole code and then saying, I want this changed, you should be able to identify I'm facing problems here in my
mm.
program.
Probably the logic
And then
logic update or
correct. Then you can actually converse with the AI algorithm to say, this is the part of the code where I'm facing issue. This is the error. This is the
mm,
scenarios in which I'm facing issues. And it gives you suggestions. Then you see if that suggestion makes sense, put it into the code, not take the whole code again, just take the suggestion on how to fix something, update something. You put it into your program into your wider solution, then take it forward. And that's a very good practice rather than every
Okay.
time you go and upload something. So that being said, I'm not saying you should never ever generate code using
Mm.
AI. Do that for, prototyping, do that for fun, meaning learning sometimes, unless you kind of get tuned into it, you get, kind of that motivated, you get your mojo, you're not going to learn, right? So if you are going to, if that generation and playing around with it, messing around with it is going to help you, ask the questions, get you curious, by all
Yeah,
means, just
yeah.
go and do it, right? Yeah. Don't make it transactional. Don't make it as I want this, I got it. Thank you. Next, I
And be
want this, I
contented.
want it.
But
Right, exactly. So
okay.
get
So you have
curious,
to be
be
crazy
curious,
about
learn.
more.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Nice. So, so if that is, I mean, if with that, so can AI help someone think better, not just code faster?
Yes. So if are you able to think better when you refer a book and learn something out of it? Are you able to think better
Hmm.
when you go discuss with someone
Right.
and get their thoughts? If the answer is yes, the answer is yes here as well, because
Okay.
instead of you going and searching 5 books, instead of you going and finding 5 people,
Hmm.
all the books and all the people who have shared things on internet is compiled in one form here. So by all
Ah,
means, go, have that, and it will make us better. The definition of better will be different.
okay.
There is always this transition state in terms of, and I see this as well, and I people give this example before smartphones came. I used to remember 70 phone numbers of my friends and family. Today, I struggle to remember my own number.
Your own number.
Okay, okay, I get it. I get it. I don't deny that. I get it. However, things that you had to rely on so many people, and say, for example, you had to go from one place to the other, and you didn't know how to plan and how to go and all those stuff. And hence you hated travel, you were anxious and all those stuff. Now you are able to do it because you have technology you can rely on. You're able to do it. You actually got better. There is a part of it where you are having a reliance on a technology, but that reliance makes you better, makes you do more things. So there is, a good that comes out of it. In a very short term, it's difficult to say it's a constructive thing or not. But
Okay.
for a period of time, I believe, my own belief is that it's constructive.
Ah, okay. That's interesting, and I think I know you have experienced it to even confidently bring it about.
Oh, yeah. I mean, especially navigating things without Google Maps, forget it.
Oh, I cannot even drive a little, no, even 10 meters without my Google Maps. So,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
so we've been habituated doing certain things. So,
Hmm. Yep.
so learning by reading or reading by building or learning by building. What's one misconception you often see among beginners today?
Um, I'm going to change that slightly, right? So, I mean, who is reading these days? It's mostly learning by watching, right? So
Oh,
people want to
but
learn
I think
something sometimes.
storybooks are being read by children. I don't
That's
know.
true. In the no, no, that's true. I'm not. Yeah, yeah. That's true. But in the programming context,
Yeah.
um, I haven't seen anyone carrying a book these days. Yeah, they do read
Mm.
some of the things online, but mostly it is you go and look at a YouTube video for some time, or you go
Yeah.
to Udemy, you pick up a course.
Or you just
So
open your laptop and try it yourself.
yeah, so you need those material, but it's always learn by building, right? Meaning, let's
Mm.
say beginner level, you have a Udemy course and someone is teaching you something there and they have an example. I don't know why most programming example always starts with a to-do list, but it starts with a to-do list. Uh, it's boring, but hey, but you can do a to-do list along with them. Now, if you
Okay.
want to challenge yourself,
Mm.
they'll be teaching you a to-do list. You have some other concept in your mind related
Okay.
but a little different or have more features than what's being taught.
Mm.
So pause the video, try it yourself. Yeah, when you challenge yourself, sometimes it can drive you crazy because that person is not getting that error. You're getting that error because you're trying to
Yeah.
do more.
And
But
then you're like clueless.
learn it, right? So beginner level or entry level, just follow what the instructor tells you and do it on your own.
Right.
With
That's
that
how we all
also,
learned. We didn't have AI at that time. So,
yeah, yeah, absolutely, right. And we didn't have Udemy. We didn't have YouTube videos on how to code. So
right.
um, so we had to learn from people. So yeah, so absolutely, always by doing, right? Always by
Right. I
doing,
think we have more
because
resources nowadays, which is easily
absolutely.
accessible to,
Mhm,
do wonders. Beautiful.
mhm, mhm.
So, from your experience building large scale systems, so what skills separate strong programmers from average programmers?
Right. I need to think about it for like 5, 10 seconds probably. Now, especially when it comes to a large system, or even if it is a small system,
Mm,
a programmers, um, they're you rely on some people, and oftentimes what I have seen is it's not because they are very good at the coding skill. Well, they are good at it, but that's not what differentiates them. What
okay.
differentiates someone, and when someone becomes a very reliable person
Mm,
in IT, in coding practices and all those stuff, is
mm.
their understanding of the business, their understanding of how the technology work they do solves a business problem, right?
Ah.
So, so
We always
it's
are looking for, I mean, I think it's better to look at solutions than, defining a problem.
correct, correct. So, I mean, understanding your problem and then breaking down your problem and then
Mm.
finding this is how the solution is going to help solve this problem that we have broken down into small size chunks is very important, right? Um, Now, this is one line of thought. What differentiates someone in coding? The other line of thought, or the other variation I have seen,
Yeah.
some that makes someone a very, very, very strong, programmer or a very strong software engineer,
Mm.
is their ability to write reusable code. So, and that's a skill, and it doesn't come naturally. You need to, well, for some people, it comes naturally, and you
Mm.
need to learn and you need to get that, balance right as well. People, and
Oh.
also people who are able to, you know, um, look at a problem and stretch the boundary and solve it in ways
Mm.
which were frowned upon earlier, but they understand why it was frowned upon and why you don't need to frown upon such an approach now
Yeah.
because technology
The
has
why
moved
question.
on, the capabilities have moved on, right? I mean, one of the buzzwords in the industry is microservices architecture. And that was an anti pattern when we started working 20 years ago. It
Yeah.
was an anti pattern. If we put small, running modules, a lot of them, they'll go like, why do you have all that? You need to have one server resource that needs to just be servicing everything, right?
Mm.
Because at the time, server resources were needed to be optimized and it's a different architecture. But today, with cloud computing and so many things evolving, people
Mm.
are going like, well, you need to do microservices. Actually, whenever hear a buzzword,
Mm.
usually that's not the solution unless you have understood the problem and this methodology is really going to help you. That may not be the solution, right?
No, definitely
Okay.
not. See, every
Yeah,
problem you will have to go in with every step, right? I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, there cannot be one solution for even two problems.
exactly, right. And the relevance for our topic of discussion, what distinguishes a person
Mm.
in an environment, in a complex system, is that person's ability to understand business or the person's ability to understand the problem and how to evolve the
Yeah.
technology. Those
In
kind
fact,
of,
every day we all have been solving some problem or the other, but we don't call it a solution. So, so that way is all right. So that's really nice. So, what mistakes do you commonly see when engineers scale from small projects to complex projects?
Right. So small projects to complex project. People most often don't realize that they are not going to work on a greenfield project. They are going to actually touch a code that was written 30 years ago or 20 years
Mm.
ago, right? And at first people said like, oh, that's really old. Why should we be doing and all those stuff? So just a reminder for people who still have that feeling is Java is 20 plus years old now.
Yep.
So you could actually be looking at a Java code that was written a long, long time ago, and people just kept upgrading it through the versions of Java. So, in a large scale project, the projects or the solutions life is going to be huge and it's going to go through a lot of transformation, right?
Okay.
So, in a smaller scale projects, you will
Mm.
be like, oh, I just want to get something achieved,
Mm.
and it may not have a big, it could be a seasonal thing, it could be a small solution you're going to give someone who's going to use it for a few months, maybe
Mm.
a couple of years.
Mm.
And that is the comprehension barrier when people move from smaller projects to larger projects. In larger projects, there is so much code that's already there. Or even if you start as a greenfield, you are going to create something that's going to live on. And you need to think about, I'm writing something which people are going to use 30 years from now. It may not be in the same shape I'm writing it
Right.
today,
Right.
but it needs to have the ability to evolve.
Yeah.
That's a strong barrier.
The logic that actually makes the magic.
Yeah. So
Mm.
once you understand that you are trying to create something that needs to have a shelf life
Mm.
of 6 years and then be upgradable, then that understanding immediately gives you the focus that you need to say, okay, I need
Yeah.
to do things differently.
You
I need
write,
to
you write,
document, I need to do
you write
this.
code that can, make sense for I mean, that can actually solve number of problems, right? That's
Mm,
what you mean by reusable code, right?
correct, correct. Yes.
Wonderful. So, how should learners practice programming to prepare for a real world delivery? How should they practice? How they, you said you have to think, you have to, we gave them, I mean, we talked about the processes, then the learnings and all. So, how do you practice?
Yeah. So, how do you practice? Take fun projects, right? What is your definition of fun? And I'm not going to define that, right? Fun for me will be something, and that may be different for another person. So, always have a fun element in it because that's going to keep you motivated. It's going to keep you present in what you're trying to do, right?
Okay.
And it gets you through the learning journey because even when you do fun project, you'll be like, at one point, you may face an issue and you'll be like, why did I do this to myself? Those things will happen. So, in order to be able to get through that, always pick up something fun
Mm.
and start doing that. And learn not just a programming language, always under, and you don't need to learn everything about the underlying hardware
Mm.
and how is it going to run in runtime, how you are going to monitor it, but always think about the full life cycle. You are trying to create a product. It sits as a code here. You are
Okay.
going to compile that and then you are going to deploy it. How do I deploy it? A lot of
Mm.
programmers, when they start, they go like, but why? Why should I worry about deploying? It runs in my laptop. No, no, that's all good. But when you enter programming,
Mm.
um, always start learning about how does it run in a machine? How do you deploy it somewhere? How is someone else going to consume it? And if there is an issue when a user is using your software, how
Mm.
are you going to get to know about it? How to get alerts about it? How to go address it? So
Okay.
think of the full cycle, life cycle, right? Meaning
Mm.
this is where we call this as industry knowledge. In a learning environment, you don't get to understand these things. And when you transition to a work environment, you see like, oh, there is a DevOps team. Oh, there is a production support team. There is a monitoring team. There is this team, that team. But learn the concept.
Yeah.
That probably is the best way of understanding, like, programming is not just about writing code, but it is about using code to
Planning,
achieve
strategy,
something
and
and achieve something, right? Meaning, and what you want to achieve could be anything. I mean, for me, a fun project could be creating a small puzzle or a game. For someone, a fun project could be automating a light switch in their home. Why
uh,
not, right? And pick up something that, for you that comes across as, yeah, that will be fun to do, right? Meaning I just come into home and clap my hands and the light goes on or off and all those stuff. How do I go about doing it? Then get into, discovering it and how you need to do this, what you need to do, how to make it happen. So pick up a
Wonderful.
fun project.
Very nice.
Don't go by, oh, the first thing I need to learn in a programming language is a to-do list or a linked list or, the general thing that you see. I mean, if you like it, by all means, jump into it and do it. But
Jump
if it's
into
going to
it.
put you off, you need to pick up something fun and start there,
Yeah,
basically.
I mean, see what interests you then. Because I think everybody, all of us, if you force yourself, then you're putting in extra energy, which is
Mhm.
ultimately, draining your energy itself. So, all right. So, how much AI usage is too much while learning?
That's a tricky question to answer. Okay, so let me put it this way. If it's giving you more grief than you are gaining from it, probably you're using it too much, right? Or probably you're using it in a way you need to change something there. That's probably is the indicator. If everything is a smooth sail,
Hmm.
you still know what you are doing
Hmm.
and you're able to get the valuable output from it and you are able to take it forward, all good, right? I wouldn't say that's too much. But if you build too much reliance into it,
Uh,
um,
Anything
because
too
of
much
that,
is not good.
yeah, and because of that, you are actually getting more, oh my God, what happened now? Okay, this is broken, this is not working, or any situation that's not a desirable outcome, then you need to change the way you are using the tool, or you need to reduce the amount of tool usage, as simple as that.
Wonderful. So should beginners learn coding before using AI tools?
Yes and no. So, meaning it doesn't matter. So this is the thing, right? It's not like what's the best example I can give? I'm not able to come up with an example. It's so not like me. But you know, no, I don't think AI is a prohibited thing or shouldn't be viewed as a
Okay.
prohibited thing, right?
Okay.
But we already spoke about what's a good practice and what's not so good practice, and
Hmm.
keep that in mind, right? Meaning, make sure you learn out of it. You're planning your learning, and then you're good. If you're struggling to do that, meaning if your intuition is pushing you in the direction of if you are using the tool, you are like getting the code and you are getting happy with it. Okay, hold on, then pause, go read about the programming language that you want to learn, practice small coding and small exercises, interesting things. And when you run into a larger scale, then start using the automation and skills.
Okay.
I mean, you need to get that skill. It doesn't matter whether you do it by using the tool from day one or you are going to read some books and watch some Udemy and
Okay.
then you switch to
Yeah.
tools,
Doesn't
whatever works
matter.
for you,
So
basically.
nobody is
Yeah.
bothered about your plan. No, I mean, people are only looking at your results. So, all right. So, how do you avoid becoming dependent on AI?
Hmm. How do we avoid? Well, should we avoid being dependent on AI? I mean,
It's okay. As
it's
you
a
said, you said yes and no for beginners to start with AI.
yeah,
So
yeah. So
then there
I
is
don't
no
I don't
need
think there
for
is
being
any
avoiding the situation.
exactly,
You can go and go to AI. It'll teach you coding. It'll also give you a solution. It will also tell
exactly.
you that where you're going wrong, where you're going right.
Yeah, yeah.
So so
Well, got my analogy now, right? Going back to our Google Maps. Should you start with GPS or should you start with a paper map?
uh,
Well, okay, hold on. Well, it works. Why
okay.
not? Right? So,
So if you were starting your programming journey today,
oh, okay.
so what would you do?
Well, that'll be a fun experience, to be honest, because it's like you need to empty the teacup. I would love to be in a position where I have to start from scratch on something, right? Meaning,
Okay.
um,
You want
I
to
think
go
that'll
to
be
your first
a,
day at as a fresher.
yeah, I think it'll be a wonderful experience to be able to start to learn programming today because when compared to when I actually started, there is so many applications, real world applications. There is a broader globalization. Um, I think it'll be a wonderful experience if I'm able to start. from scratch today, the things that I can learn. So, say, for example, when I started, I didn't start as a web programmer.
Yeah.
I started as a desktop programmer.
Yeah.
Um, and today, I think if I start, I'll start as a web programmer because there's so much usage for it. And
Mm.
there is apps as well, but things have changed, and it's a much broader opportunities that are available now, and so many different things to try and learn and have fun with. So yeah, it'll be a wonderful experience to be able to start today. Will I turn out to be doing something different? Maybe, maybe not. I think I will again give it a shot on doing some kind of a game and interactive software development, which I have tried in the past. If I start today, I think that's probably what I'll focus on.
Okay, directly hit the game and hit the target. Okay, so I think that's like a full journey on how, when, what. I think any fresh someone who's like wanting to check out this, I think they should check out our conversation. So what's one to the final two questions, okay, Madhu?
Okay.
So
Hmm.
what one habit should every programmer build in the AI era?
Okay. So the one habit that
Habit
I
is
would,
something that you do every day, okay? I'm
yeah, yeah.
defining
So,
habit for you.
yeah, yeah. So the one habit I would definitely recommend for any software engineer or programmer is um, map the things that you're working on, whether it is your technology knowledge or the project that you're working on, map it in your mind. So the way I do it is using a life cycle, meaning have it as a dependency graph, as a mind map. What is linked to what can lead to what, have that. Um, and
Mind
that will
map.
be of great help, right? Mind map of, how a technology works, how a solution works. Um, and that will help you a lot because when you do that, and in coding, in programming, when you do that, and there is a problem, before opening your laptop, you will be able to narrow it down to it's between these two code files. It's between line 100 and line 200.
Mm.
I'm sure that's where the
Okay.
problem is, kind of
Okay.
thing, right?
Yeah, I think
So
mind maps are really good, but then that's a beautiful one. So is it a learning hack or a technique that has worked for you?
yeah, that's something that I practice in terms of any solution I have worked on, any uh, big enterprise solutions that I have architected.
Mm.
I have a mind map of what are all the things that are there, what are all the flows that are there, and how it hangs
Okay.
together. So when someone comes to me and says, "Oh, we need to change this because some rule has changed, regulation has changed, or technology has evolved," then I'll be able to immediately sit in 10 minutes and have a chat to say, "These are all the things that are impacted. This is what we need to go focus on." Right? Meaning not go and look at, okay, what all do we have? So if you're a programmer and you want to develop one habit, it's definitely that. But I don't think it's limited to programming. You are good at whatever you do. And some people naturally form this kind of a mind map of how things hang together.
Mm.
And that's the reason why in any place you go, you don't just go and ask anyone and everyone when you're lost. You go and you need to ask that person because they'll be able to immediately guide you. And I think that person has
Okay.
that mind map, right? So
Uh,
I think
okay.
that
So
as
you'll
a habit,
ultimately end up reaching the mind map, but if you could do one yourself, then
yeah,
I mean,
it'll
it's
help you.
easy, it's faster.
Exactly.
Wonderful. Okay. So to close off, what does fundamental first truly mean in your practice?
Right. So it is the foundation, right? It is how something works. Um, when you are trying something and it worked for the first time, you're going to be super happy. right? Super happy. Doesn't matter whether it is coding or, you want to go play badminton and you're not good at it. And at one point you learn and you're able to do something that you were not able to do before. You're so happy. Um, that's great, right? That feeling is great.
Hmm.
That feeling, if you don't yet realize how you reach there, that fundamental, you need to spend some time. And people ask the three, people say, ask the three whys, right? But why did it work? Oh,
Yeah.
maybe it's because of this. Oh, but then why did that work? Why did that work? Like, people say usually that at least ask three whys. Ask your whys, understand the hows. And
Okay.
that's what, getting to know your fundamentals. And that's very important because once you have that, then you can build anything on top of it, right? So that's why it is very, very important.
Wonderful. Beautiful. Okay. So thank you, Madhu, for sharing all your experiences. So I would want more of your, more of our topics going on discussion here. So today with, coding in AI, that is like, an icing on the cake, I believe, like coding
Hmm.
smarter. So using AI as your development partner. So I
Hmm.
think this would serve as a base for our topics going ahead. So until we
Absolutely.
meet again, your closing words on your today's experience.
Well, it was very good. Like you said, like you rightly said, we barely scratched the surface, right? We didn't go into any deep topics. That being said, I think this is good because the whole point of having, I do believe that whole point of us having discussions like this or with discussion with anyone is to create that curiosity, get
Yeah.
people to have that spark, right? And I hope our conversation does that for people who watch it. Thank you so much for having me. And I look forward to having many more discussions in this topic or other topics in the future.
Yes, that
Appreciate
actually
the time.
solves our curiosity, or like no, we are. I mean, we are clueless as to which Google to go or which AI to refer. So, so thank you so much, and you have a wonderful weekend. Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye
Prajita. Take
bye.
care. Bye.